just quickly, great, great battle. I thought right from the get-go, the guys played hard, and we were moving the puck and doing some good things. And the one thing we talked about this morning and this afternoon is that our approach is always the same. Whatever happens on Friday, we've got to reassess, learn something from it, and keep climbing and try and be better the next night. And, we knew Minnesota was going to come after us hard and try and get something out of it. I thought our guys did that. They matched it. I thought they played a heck of a game tonight. But I loved the compete, and I love the confidence in our guys.
Is this your best weekend of the season, you think, in terms of?
Well, sure. You know what? That's a big sweep for us, and that's it's a Big Ten. Cornell was good, 8th in the country, obviously on the road. That was a lot of fun, and we've had some some good moments. But this is a Big Ten series, and Minnesota's had their way with us. And last year they did. I thought we played some decent games against them, but to win the series 3-1, to get 6 points here at home, and not leaving anything on the table. I trust me. Before the weekend, he said you won in regulation and won in overtime. We got 5 out of 6. I'd have taken the deal.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
For us, it's big, and belief is a huge thing, and guys start to see that we can play with some pretty good teams, and we have. We've been with Penn State and Ohio State, and now doing this, and we're starting to score some goals, and I think there's, like I said, a little belief in there, and that'll carry a long way.
Danton, I asked Mitchell, Michael Jordan once told me when he was in the zone, the rim looked like it was 8 feet wide. No matter where he threw it, it was going in. I said, are you feeling that? And he just kind of shook his head and goes, I don't even know if Coach would want me to answer that. But when you got a guy who's in that zone, do you really just say nothing? Do you leave him alone?
A little bit, but I think with Mitch, and with those guys, top of the circles in, I don't say too much. Every once in a while, they'll overpass it, and they'll tell him, hey, it's okay to be greedy sometimes. But we'll coach him to the top of the circles. But all the really offensive guys I've coached from there, they're going to see more, and they're going to know what the play is, and you want them to have that confidence. So, but with Mitch, he's had a good first half, but I think he's been better since Christmas. I think he's practiced harder. He's slashing more. He's forechecking more. He's in front of the net a lot more, and when he's doing those things. So I'll remind him of those things. Hey, this is when you're successful. And it started coming, and he had a couple series ago. He had 7 or 8 attempts on net, and he was starting to get some one-timers and slide around. And now stuff's coming to him, but it's not coming because of the luck change. It's coming because he's working in straighter lines, and he's a really good forechecker, and he's going to the front of the net, and he's earning them, and he's got a great stick. So when he does that, he's going to score.
Izzo says the hardest part of building a champion is kids learning how to win. They may have the talent. Question for you. You go from 7th in the Big Ten to 3rd with a 6-point weekend. Is this can this apply in hockey the same way? Can they now, when I just told them, several of them didn't even know they'd made that big a jump. Is this the learning to win process?
Well, it is, and you learn to win, and you learn to have a little bit of a swagger. So even when you don't, it's that expectation to win. And I'm not sure that we're certainly not there, but it's better than it was, and that's a cultural thing. And you see it a lot of times. Teams will win a championship, and they'll come back the next year in college. A lot of guys they'll win some games early on just based on that swagger and that belief and understanding, and you'll win a few that you haven't, and then sometimes it catches up to you if you're not really good. But I still want our guys to feel that way. I want in that Ohio State game, that's a huge push for us. That win, we played 2 really good games at Penn State. Getting a win the second night was really big, and then this is another step. So, we talk about, I guess, learning to win, but we just let's just keep climbing. Every day, every game, and sooner or later you got a little streak going, and you find out you're not a bad hockey team.
Individually, and Osborne had a pretty good game, being on the goals and playing defense against a very tough team. What was your reaction to when he played this week?
He was really good. I thought, energy is never an issue with Oz. I mean, that kid, he makes coffee nervous, as we say. So it's just directionally, keep that energy going the right way. So, yeah, he doesn't cheat us. His energy, his emotion's outstanding. And, but he's settled his game down, and a lot of times it's not working harder. It's, he's a lot of wrist shots on net, and finding lanes. And he even found a guy on the backside of the power play before we scored in the third period. There was a nice look. I mean, it was a nice little play to the back. It didn't work, but it was the right play. And there's some nuances back there. And no, he's doing a great job. And he brings such a dynamic element to us that he can break some things out, and he can get on the plus side offensively that some other guys can't.
You had two guys get their first careers tonight, and then Sam gets his first since that Cornell weekend. How important is it to get those guys back on the board?
Well, it's huge, and Sammy's been playing really well since Christmas break. I think he and Lambden and Milan have really made a difference, and they're three older guys, and they've just played hard and done some right. And so it's good to see him get rewarded because, like I said, he's been battling. We give him matchups against big centermen every week, and he's just got to grind. He's got to kill penalties and take draws, and he does a lot of the grunt work that sometimes the coaches, we understand it. Maybe you look at the stat sheet and it doesn't show up as much. So yeah, it's awesome for him, and he deserved it. And then Goodsir, Adam's been playing real well, and again I think it's a guy that's starting to build and figuring out. In that line with Lambden and Milan have been real strong. So he's put some pucks on net, and he's a big, strong kid, and he's going to score some goals before it's over. He has in the past. So, no, those are huge. And then, hey, anytime a defenseman scores, we'll take it. But that was a bomb. That was a legit goal. That was an excuse me shot. That was a goal.
Minnesota's got two good lines, young guys, old guys on these lines, but they're dangerous every time. But your defense played pretty decent against them over the weekend.
I thought they did. I thought our gaps were a little too big last night in the beginning. Then I thought we trued it up, and I thought our forwards did a great job just in terms of just compressing the zones and pushing them into our D and not letting them, because you're right. If you give them time and space, they're good players. They skate and they have good hands and they can shoot. So I thought we did a good job of, when they got over the blue line, us having five guys in the area and them just having the three with their D trail. And so, the D did a great job, but I give the forwards a ton of credit because they just really pushed back with their back pressure.
I want to talk about Johnny's first goal, just a bad angle on the puck. But after that, man, he was zeroed in. His maturation, has Drew and him together made each other better, the competition?
Well, you hope so. And you hope at some point they both have like 930, 940 save percentages driving each other. But you know what? It has, and it's a competitive thing, and some guys really take to that, and some guys they don't. They're good when they're the only guy there and there's not competition. But I think they've been good for each other. And if you saw Drew after the game, you would have thought he started both games, and Johnny was the same way. And they want to play. They're like everybody else, and we get that. We want that internal fight. And Drew's gonna. That kid competes, and he's gonna try and win the starting job for next Friday, Monday through Thursday this week, and it's up to Leth to have a good week and keep it there. But I think it's a really healthy thing, and it's a tough long year, and if they can keep battling like that, then it gives us a chance. And I think the guys have a lot of confidence in both of them, which is a beautiful thing.
There's an old adage in football: if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one. But you have two legitimate goalies, and I asked Lethman tonight, with your guys putting the puck in the net, one bad goal doesn't matter as much anymore. He talked about that. Talk about having two goals, because that's really a blessing.
It's the confidence of that is good, because sometimes if we're scratching out one, if we score two goals, we're having we're having cake on Monday. It's hard to and celebrating. That's a lot of pressure on goalies. So that takes a little pressure off of them, and pucks going in is good. But I think it's a little different than football, and I agree with you there. You need number one. I think the hockey saying is a good way to have a good number one is have a really good number two. And if they push them, and if you can't handle being pushed, then you probably don't have the mentality to be a number one goalie anyhow. So I like the situation we're in, and it's good. Again, guys have confidence in both guys. And, hey, Drew's going to be back in there at some point, and it'll be up to him to come in and win us a game.
Dan, when you think back to November, Thanksgiving time, when you lost that first game to Minnesota 7-2, and then you tried to rebound it, obviously, is that sort of an example of just how patience needs to be taken when you go into these games with a young team?
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's, those, and our guys have answered the bell real well for 2 years. I mean, there's some, hey, we might be short in a lot of different areas, but I tell you what, backbone and guts we're not, and I think we've shown that an awful lot. But yeah, that's a tough loss to come back to on a big sheet, and then we were down 2-0. We were playing really well. We're down 2-0, came back 1-4-2. So those are good things, and those all those moments, and as they said, Coach Izzo's as you talk about building a winner, you've got to go through those things, and you got to have some success and come back sometimes, hold the lead sometimes, block shots, and it's contagious.
It's like Rosberg in the last minute.
It was unbelievable. I mean, it wasn't unbelievable. It was very believable, but it was awesome. Just the reaction on the bench, and then his reaction when he came off. It was really. It's a neat thing, and guys, they start taking some pride in that, and again, some stats don't show up on the stat sheet that mean anything. That means an awful lot. I mean, everybody on the bench was up on that, and yeah, that's a heck of a feeling. And when you win games, there's going to be some ice bags. If you don't see many ice bags, you probably didn't win the hockey game. And the guys, they battled hard, and they played physical and blocked shots.
Danton, I'd like you to go back with me earlier in the year when you and I visited. And I don't think frustration is a fair word, but you were certainly, there was something, man, these guys are getting it, they're getting in practice, we just need something to get them their confidence. Can a sweep of a traditional power like Minnesota, a jump from 7 to 3, can this be that injection of confidence that you're looking for?
You hope so. I really think since Christmas, I'm even though the 2 overtime games in GLI weren't, it maybe didn't mean to a lot of other people mean much, but I thought we played really well, and I think we've played some pretty good hockey. Even I might be on my own here on this. I think even the second night after beating Ohio State, the first night, the big comeback, the 6-0 game, I didn't think we played that bad, and I think the guys on Monday kind of felt that way too and got on the wrong side of it. But I think there's, there is a little bit of confidence there, and that there was so much there in practice, and we'd see it, and the hardest part of getting competent at things and learning how to play as a team is, the first part when young guys get here, you go from unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know, and then you cross over, and then you figure out the conscious incompetence. Then you figure out what you don't know, and that's the first stage. The third one is real hard, and we went through this a lot at the NTDP. Learning patterns was getting to conscious competence, where you get over that hump and you play, and you're really not thinking. Fourth stage is a Michael Jordan area where you're unconscious incompetence. You're just playing and you're not thinking, and the closer you can get to that, and that's the harder. That's rare air up there. But our guys, I think we were kind of stuck in that second one and thinking, and who knows what it is. Maybe it's just enough reps, maybe it's just enough time. But I think we've played faster and done some good things, and I get excited watching the tape afterwards. Our guys, they're playing some good hockey and they're in it, and we might not be the best team in the country, but I think we're a pretty darn good team when we play this way.
One last one for me, but APAP, I thought he played a really good game, not mistake-free, but he was relentless.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't be able to notice until you saw the film, but did you see that out of him? I thought it was a great performance.
He was a horse tonight. I mean, he was on pucks and forechecking. He's probably as well as I've seen him skate, and just in just determinations. And he was okay on draws last night, not great. And tonight he was outstanding on draws tonight. He won a ton of big ones, and he was battling. He was on the right side of pucks, and that's it. Just we get so much depth because now we have good serves playing well, and then that line can give us give the guys a break, and APAP's line is real trustworthy, and Sammy's line are what they are, and Koto's line, and if we can keep Kotorenko's line around 20 minutes a game, that's pretty good. And they get stretched early in the year where they're 24, 25 minutes. It's just way better for us. They're more productive with less ice time. But that doesn't really make sense, but that's how it is.
Okay.
Yeah.